Harassment Support. I'm Varsha Vaishali, founder and president of Cyber Harassment Support, also known as CHS. At CHS, our mission is to create awareness, provide support, and promote digital dignity for individuals affected by cyber harassment, online abuse, cyber fraud, AI related risk, and privacy harms. Over past 2 weeks, we have been sharing awareness contained on important Canadian laws that common people should understand, especially around privacy, online safety, cyber fraud, health information, consent, digital platform, and responsible use of technology. Today, I'm very pleased to welcome Arunanan Gopalakrishnan. Arunanan is a privacy and data governance leader with experience across Canada's privacy landscape, including health information, privacy, provincial laws, PEPEDA, CASTLE, data governance, enterprise risk compliance, and responsible AI. Today's discussion is not meant to be legal advice. It is educational conversation to help common people understand Canadian privacy and digital safety laws in simple, practical language. Arunanan, thank you so much for joining us today. It is wonderful to have you here.
Thank you so much, Varsha. Thank you having me here. I really appreciate the opportunity to join this very important conversation today. And I also want to acknowledge the great work Cyber Harassment Support is doing, create awareness, online safety, privacy, and responsible use of technology. I'm deeply closely following everything you're doing in great job. Today, I just want to talk and see how we can make this conversation helpful to use our technology effectively. It's not just a legal thing, but it also a human side issues. So thank you for having me here.
Arunanan, many people think privacy law is only for lawyers, companies, or government institutions. Why should ordinary people care about Canadian privacy laws?
Everything every day. One more thing, everyone start using the AI tools, right? So everywhere you go, the personal information is being collected, and those informations are analyzed, stored, and shared for multiple purpose somewhere behind the scene. So these laws exist in Canada to make the organization who's collect that information accountable, and how they're going to handle our information, and what are the ways we can protect the parties misusing this information or keeping it secure. So in today's digital world, and every personal information became extremely valuable, the organizations are definitely depending on that information, and that's where the privacy comes into play, and privacy professionals like us play a great role in protecting the common citizens of this country.
What does personal information mean to Canadian privacy law?
That's true. Like not people can understand what personal information. Maybe they do, or maybe not. As I started myself in the industry, I have no clarity what exactly the personal information, where you draw the line. So in simple terms, I can say personal information is any information that identify an individual either directly or indirectly. Because most of the time we think it just pertain to the direct information like your name, email address, but there is also you need to consider your own phone number can track you back to who you are, or even postal code address like a postal informations, or even a minor health informations, and combination of your other personal identifier. Even it shouldn't be the direct identifier. Indirectly, anyone can reach you back and identify who you are. So financial information, IP addresses, location data, where exactly you live or work, that can be in a combination. Sometime you can identify that person back to who they are, like photos, voice recordings, and these people, they record everything of themselves and post in the social media. That also comes into personal informations. And the biometric information, governments are very pushing on that side. Partly it helpful for them to identify, but same time we need to know what are the rights we before you execute that sharing that information. Even online behavior, what you watch, what you see, where you browse, and a combination of that information can also personal information. So it's not like a highly sensitive information is a personal information as many people think. Even a smaller piece of minor information in combination with other information, then it can be turned into personal information. So you need to have that clarity.
Yeah. So to summarize for our viewers, correct me,
Hmm.
Arunanan,
Sure.
if I'm right. What I understand is our Behavior online, our data online, can be combined to create our digital profile or digital clone, which can be used in different ways without even our knowledge. And it can be as harmful as taking a bank loan, or stalking, or voice cloning, or any such kind of fraud. So, and
That's
more
true.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
more
true.
so
Yeah, yeah. Go
because
ahead.
our
Hmm.
information is our own property, we would say. So anybody using it without our consent is not correct. Am I correct, Arunanan?
I wouldn't say own property, but we have the rights on that information, because if you put that in a health information acts and law, that information is not actually our property. That's a health information of you, but it's custodians hold that information for various purposes. Even in the legal, in the Supreme Courts or police can hold certain informations, which could be your own information, personal information for various other reasons. So that's where the gray areas look into. But as you said, is right. Our behavioral patterns, in combination with any of our one or two identifier, like your name or phone number, or where you live, exact household, can turn into a personal information, and they can be misused. That's why we have a cookie policies, and Canada is still progressing into that direction. But European Unions, with the GDPR and European Union laws, it's have a very clear cut cookie policies, what you can share and what not share. So we need to understand every time you accept this complete go. Like once you install some applications, they ask you, "Hey, you agree?" Just take a few minutes to read between the lines. You don't need to be a lawyer. Most of the time, it's a simple terminologies expected to given by the organization. So understand what kind of information is you're sharing with them, because inevitably, unknowingly, we just agree with that, and they have all rights now to use it, even like a Netflix account or like a Prime Video or like other social media thing. Once you install it, you give the permission to them to use these informations for various things. So we need to have that awareness. There is our personal information sitting somewhere, and we
Yeah.
have a lot of rights on it, how to use it, and we also have a right to revoke that. Those kind of awareness is very much needed for
Yeah.
sure.
So you mean to say, if I give my information, I should know where my information is being used and to what time, to what extent it is being used, and I have the rights to revoke the information, to make correction to the information. That's good to
That's
know.
right.
Yeah. So with that, I have heard that Canada has various provincial laws and federal laws, laws like PEPIDA, provisional laws, public sector laws, and health privacy laws. How common people can understand this landscape without getting overwhelmed?
That's right. Yeah, even I work with clients across outside of the country. They struggling to understand our structure. Our structure is a bit different than other countries, or even United States or Europe Union. To make it simple for the common layman language, I would always divide our privacy laws in a three bucket. The one is a private sector privacy law, which could be a commercial in nature or non-commercial in nature. And there is other thing comes into place, a public sector privacy law, which could be a, municipal level organizations, which most of the provinces go with the municipal level FIPA laws, MFIPA sometimes, and also like federal level organizations, then also like a provincial level organization. So anything offering the public sector, like schools, fire stations, police stations, so that falls under a public sector privacy laws. And the third bucket is a health privacy law, because our hospitals in Canada has a unique structure. Most of the time is funded by the government. It's a universal healthcare system, so we have a health privacy laws, and these laws can be changed province to province, which is quite similar most of the time, which they have their own unique nuances. Like Ontario has their own PHIPA, and Alberta has its HIA, and similarly with the British Columbia has its own health privacy laws. So make it simple. You always to remember it's a private sector privacy laws and a public sector privacy law and health privacy law. So for ordinary people, like you need to understand every organization, irrespective of nature, they should be transparent, and they should collect only the information they genuinely need. Like if you go to the healthcare setting, they don't need your financial information. The vice versa, if you go a financial institution, unless it's insurance or a particular relevant need, you don't need to give your own personal health. So you need to have, they should have only to collect the informations they genuinely need, and they should put all mechanism in place to protect the information. And people also have certain rights over that information. As I said, it's not completely our own property, but we have rights over the information, how the information is stored and where it's used and what are the purposes used. And there's a lot of time we can revoke it. There's an exceptions too.
Okay. So, if I understand, as Canadian structure laws, we have federal law, then we have provisional law, and provisional law has its own health related laws, educational laws, and federal laws are mostly into banks and PEPEDA, like all the um, private sector companies, those who operate.
Yes,
And government has different laws, so this is how the entire structure looks like. And
yes,
this law, though they are similar, might have some nuances across the provinces, but this is how we can understand as Ontario has its Ontario health related sector, Alberta has its own, New Brunswick has its own, or British Columbia, so on. Good to
that's right.
know. Good to know, to simplify for us to understand this structure. So, what basic privacy rights every Canadian should know? I think you have already said about consent, but if you can elaborate a little bit in simple language, what Canadians should know about their privacy rights?
Yes, the privacy rights, when I say it's mostly pertain to our personal information, and the basic rights. The PIPEDA has a 10 structure, accountability, transparency, those kind of guidelines for us how that information needs to be protected. But like in a simple terms, every person has the right to know why that information is collected, and what is a meaningful concern. There's a concern like the expressed concern. You deliberately give the certain expressed concern, but there is also called implied concern. In certain exception, you have a pre-existing commercial relationship or the relationship with the parties, and now they have a certain implied consent to ongoing in nature that could be changed in the future, especially in the law 25 have that make it more clarity, but make it more simple. Like if you go to a dental office, every time you're not going to write a consent. First time you became a patient of them, and all the subsequent treatments are implied in nature. That means you're giving them a consent. Unless you want to revoke that consent in return or other proper channel. You similar with the doctor office and healthcare field. You first time you visit, they intake you as a patient, and you give a consent for them. And subsequent visit, you don't need to give every time to say yes to make a treatment, but it's you have the right to revoke it. You can always say no. So you need to have the clear understanding of what is express consent and implied consent in nature. And the other thing I always promote to them, every citizens or the users, however you call them, you have the right to access to information. Let me say if I go and buy something from a product from some commercial organization, then I gave my informations at the time. Probably they gave a discount or something. I gave the information and I forget about that. But after that, I was deeply worried. Now I'm getting a lot of phishing informations impersonating that organization. So I can always have the right to access the information, what they're holding and how much information they're holding about me. I can make a formal request. Usually the privacy officers sitting there, or they have channels to like request information. Most of the time it's free, and there is a chargeable depending on how the information is baked. The same with the healthcare setting too. You have a ongoing relationship with your family physician. Now you don't like him anymore, or he changed. Now you want to know what are the treatment records you have had all these years, or maybe you're flying out of the country. You want to see another person in US or in Mexico. Then you can make a request to that hospital asking for. Either you can ask particular relevant information, or I can always ask the complete informations. And let me say you find, if you ask, you got this document in your hand and you find there's a lot of mistakes there. They're putting male as a female, and there's including certain patient's information, the treatment you never took it, or sometimes they say put you're alcoholic and I'm never drank in my life. And then those kind of mistakes could happen. Then you find it, you can always ask them to correct that information. Like your last name may be spelled wrong, lot of times. So you can, if you find you don't want that situation, you can always correct it. And other than that, I always say go to the privacy policy. This external privacy policy we say is mostly pertaining to the users. It give all these complete informations of how they collect it, what are the reasonable safeguards they keep it there to protect, like a technical safeguards, policy safeguards. So how the information is sitting there or how they using it for other purpose is clearly called out in most of the websites. So that's the first thing. As a privacy person, I always eager to open some website. I go down all the time, all the way to the down, and check the privacy policy, and it clearly inform a lot more information. You don't even ask them; it's written there. And if something is not right, you have the right to make a complaint. So you can always reach out to the privacy office, escalate the issues, and if most of the time they're super helpful. And if you don't like it, you can always take it. Like if you're getting constant annoying marketing calls, even though you put your thing and do not disturb log, and they keep on bothering you, you can always go to the apply the CASL, the Canadian Anti-Spam Legislation, and they have a commissioners, and you can make a lodge complaint, and they will take that issue. And like a robocalls, right? Robocalls are not allowed unless the very specific situations. And if they keep on working and organization doesn't understand that, then you can make a complaint formally in various way. You can reach out to provincial privacy commissioner offices. They have a lot of materials, and they explain and help you what are the next steps you can make it workable.
Those are very helpful information, Arunanan, and a lot of information that you have given. I'll just simplify for the viewers. So, as Arunanan mentioned, health information is one of the critical information, and Canada takes special care for safeguarding your information. And you have your rights to see your information. And consent can be implied or can be explicit consent, but a consent is meaningful when it is understood by um,
The
the
parties.
provider. Yeah.
Mhm.
So you can correct your information, you can have a look on the information, and always reach out to the privacy officer of the organization. That he would be the first point of contact in case of anything. And if you're not happy, then you can always reach out to the provincial privacy commissioner on their website and check what information and what guidelines are there, and that will definitely help you out in resolving your concerns. Arnanan, with that, I'm just getting one more question in my
Mhm.
mind. Are there any SLAs associated with those kind of communication with the privacy officer? How much time do they generally take?
They say the turnaround time, once you reach out, we have 30 days of time to respond back. It's most situations, not may not be same. Some provinces it may be 20 days, and depending on the ministries they work differently as well. But the general thumbnail, I always say the thumb rule is 30 days time. You reach out some organization, they have a 30 days time, but most of the time they go for extension. If they want to do more investigation, they let you know. But in any situation, the communication is open, and they also ask certain informations from you to make sure you are the right person requesting the informations, like identifying your verifying your identification, who you are and what is the need. Most organizations super helpful to de-escalate the situation. So I would say 30 days, 20 days,
30 days, okay.
30 business days. Now the Alberta's changing that to be a usually 30 days. Now it says 30 business days. I think Ontario has the 30 business day rule. So the days, it provincial wide it may change, but mostly you need to remember, if you make some complaint, you need to wait at least 20 to 30 days to get some response.
Does it have any overlap with the EU kind of privacy of right to forget?
Right to forget, yes, but not all the provincial now have that structure in place. I might be wrong, it's changing quickly, but I know the law 25 specifically have that right to forget or right to eraser. But in even that situation, you cannot go and erase your complete health information from hospital. I don't think they're going to let you to complete everything. We have a mechanism there. There's a black box icon to lock it, so it won't be shared with anyone else. Other than that, it's a life-saving situation or like a court orders. We break that. We cannot completely erase ourselves, but the private organization have the mechanism. Completely, we can delete the information or write to forget. Yes, they're bringing it organization-wide, organization to organization. Things are changing, and I don't think at the provincial wide laws are specifically calling out that now, but things are changing. So we're not there like a European Union level. And also like any quasi-federal regulatory bodies also, they're going to keep some sort of information about you, like your name or address. In if it is not legislated like legally required to keep it. Organizations honor the request, but let me say the CRA has certain rules to keep it for 6 years. Financial information can be 7 to 10 years, and if there is a legal hold or like ongoing lawsuit is happening, that information stays there until it's discharged or you get a final verdict. So things may change case by case. Uh, but you can execute the right. Very rarely we get the request, but we try to honor. If everything is tick box and it's okay, then we try to honor, but we still hold certain information to identify the person. In case if the person comes back and say, hey, we accidentally made a request or they want something, we need to way to identify the person who they are, right? So Canada is not that
Yeah,
level of
yeah,
European Union.
makes sense because
Mm-hmm.
when we talk about health information for further treatments, we need the history of the person. I would highlight some of the points that you have said for our viewers. And Arunanan says about Law 25, he is actually implying to Quebec Law 25 amendment, which is completely in alignment, similar to European law, which is pretty advanced as compared to other provisional laws. And it gives the citizens more rights on their personal information. And when Arunanan says about black box, he says that if you are not interested to share your health related information to any other um, provider or service provider related to health, you can always put a logbox on your information and it will not travel without your consent. Thank you for giving those beautiful insights, Arunanan. And with that, I will move to the next question. At CHS, we often see that online harm is not only emotional, it can also involve privacy violation. How are privacy and cyber harassment connected?
That's an ongoing issue, right? The cyber harassment is a big thing, especially the kids. Not kids, even young adults are getting, even older person. I would say vulnerable populations are mostly targeted. People are finding creative, especially the criminals who are working behind the scene. They're getting more creative to extort or find some crooked way to get into you. So there's a many forms of cyber harassments, online abuses are there, and it's clearly violating all our privacy laws, and not just privacy laws, other laws are violating. For example, impersonation, and especially AI comes without the use of your own concern. They can use your own face to impersonate you, and that could be a physically, emotionally damage. And there are the minors also get into because they share certain of the picture in certain websites, and now they take it and use it for various other purpose, and they can also blackmail them, extort them. They can even ask them to pressurize to non-consensual sharing of their own personal images at the point. And there's a stalking happening. There's a lot of cyber harassments happening through stalkers. They find your name or they find some way of your personal information, and they try to stalk you, not just in your social media account. I think when you say stalk, they say it's a in personal stalking or like a social media stalking, but they are very creative. They can even go up to your where your workplace is. They can identify where you work, where you. They even go into the other channels, what exactly you browse, and they try to manipulate and create another alter personality of you. It ends up in a lot of harms for the person. And also account hacking is phishing is very ongoing issues. CRA robocallings, we're getting that kind of issues for many years. The government is provide trying to invest heavily on that side to prevent educate the people. And now because AI is there, there's a lot of AI generated abuse in various way. They make it sounds very very truthful. Some of the websites looks very truth. Sometimes you think it's a bank is asking you for sharing the information. Any situation, I always say take a step back, take a deep breath, and just try to double check where that is originating. And your personal informations can be abused. It can be sold in various websites, and they can take it and use it for multiple other purposes. So it's ongoing issue. It's they're getting more creative, more and more ways of they try to target the people. Awareness and education, and try to not get hooked into their webs and lies and deceit. That's most important. So it can be reputational damage, it could be emotional damage, a lot of times a financial harm. You could lose all your savings, and banks never have, they cannot even help in certain situations because you deliberately give that information on the amount through other channel. You cannot even track back.
Yeah. With all that you said, Arunanan, there's something that is coming to my mind with the information that you gave before.
Hmm.
There's a lot of noise now about voice cloning
That's
because of
right.
AI. But I would put some light for the viewers here. If you just pick up your phone and say hello, doesn't mean that your voice will be cloned. They need different information to clone you. And that is where Arunanan's advice works, that do not give information which is not required. Just give what much is required and give informed consent, even if it is explicit or implicit. You should be informed about what information you are giving. And if any such situation of urgency comes back, because today's world, we what we see or we hear, we cannot believe on that. You have to take a step back, look at the situation in a rational way, and then take step forward. Because there are many situations where you can the online harassment can go to offline harassment very soon. So that is where we have to look into deep into. Arnanan, Canada as a country and our laws, how does it take um, steps regarding child safety when it comes to child safety? What our citizens should know?
That's right. Yeah, that's child safety is a huge thing, and we have already have the mechanism, law and enforcement working great level to prevent our kids entrapped in social media or other ways. But as a common citizen, we should aware what our child is doing, what exactly they're putting the informations, and we should have the parental guidance and control over the data they share. I know our laws are changing. They're going to say, like Australia now, the kids cannot have a social media, and also good thing in schools, they not allowing the gadgets and cell phones or anything. They try to minimize. I don't think they're preventing completely minimizing it in the school rooms. Even the smartphones are should be put in the airplane mode when you're in the classrooms. But as a parents, you need to have know like what are the accounts created. You can all the social media, even on Google, right? Once I bought iPad for my son. Um, Other gadgets for my son, then I try to put my parental safeguards and security in there. It is there, and we can control what kind of information kid can access. It could be the minor children, or it could be teenager. You need to have that open conversation with the kids. We have a protective mechanism as a privacy officer. We always want to concern us those things in our life, but our laws have a very good channels, materials, and there is a lot more awareness is created by organizations like CU and also Privacy Commission Office, bringing materials how to protect the kids from that information, because this is necessary. You cannot completely take that out away from their hands, because they're going to find other creative ways to get into it, right? But at least you need to know what is the rating, what is the privacy policies of that applications or the websites, games especially. And there is a lot of predators trying to come into their online games nowadays. So you should know that there's a parental guidance is needed for in every situation.
Absolutely,
Mhm.
Arnanan. But I would also like to highlight something more here. As a parent myself, I completely agree with you. But the companies should also consider that there should be no consent below 18 or 16 years of age. And any kind of consent, even to download gaming app or anything, should need parental consent, not children consent. And grooming of children, sextortion, or AI generated abuse has been so common. With that, I get another question in my mind, because accidents do happen even after all these problems. There might be situations where there can be sextortion, impersonation, or AI generated abuse. In such situation, what steps should a victim take, and what they can do to prevent themselves?
Uh, that's a good thing. Like I would say, what victim themselves, as I would say, as a family, as a community, because certain times the victims are emotionally damaged or they do not know where to seek help. But you need to treat or train your kids or the minor have that open communications without any putting the punishment mechanism. You should know, or maybe school teachers, the kids should seek out somebody, or even they're nobody around, don't have a family person to open up, they should reach out the helplines. There's a kids helpline nowadays. There's a distress call, you can make it. But as a family, you need to teach the younger youths and kids, like, don't fall prey for the urgency. You need to treat them from very young age. There is no secret between the family, and there is when some stranger approach you, you need to know and come and talk with the parents, and don't trust blindly anyone. And sometimes they create urgency in multiple way. And if there is a financial requirements, then don't take another steps to give that information. Okay, go some online predators, they ask, go get your parents' credit cards. Hey, can you share? They can emotionally manipulate them. In any situations, they should have that open communications with their immediate grown-ups in the family and schools. It depends on the family. As I say, as a parent myself, I always they are younger kids, but we try to train them from a very young age. And you also teach them there is a multiple way of sometimes their phones rings and it sounds like dad's voice, and it's as you said, the voice cloning, right? Then you need to be cautious. If it's a dad saying something, you should go to the mom, and if mom saying something, you should ask dad. You should have the parental supervision, and never share informations, like, don't overshare about where your dad work, where your mom goes, where we going for vacation. Keep it under us. Try to minimize the information. The best practice is the parents themselves should aware when they talk something around the kids. Don't spit out a lot of information. The kids can overhear that, and they can go outside and share it. Even online, they can share with someone playing video games. So we need to have that awareness. And as I mentioned, try to use, most organizations are very good. They're giving a lot of tools and technologies, and also the guidelines to keep it like enabling multi-factor authentication. You can monitor the web activity. You can minimize the time they in the online, and we can also the providers themselves giving a lot of safety tools to keep that monitored. And especially teaching children and the vulnerable populations that your parents very old, they don't understand this modern technology. Keep the conversation open, talk with them openly. I think that should comes from the families. I know the governments exist, organization exist, our law and enforcement doing great job, but we should develop this habit from the homes.
Absolutely, absolutely, Arnanan. I would add some points here. Nothing ends if any kind of accidents do happen, even after all the precautions that Arnanan has said. Because there are organizations like us who are ready to support and help you. There are ways where any kind of non consensual images can be taken down within 48 hours. Take it down is one of the tools that can be used. Cyber trip can be used. And at any point, for any kind of emotional support or evidence preservation, you can always reach out to us, and we can help you document the evidences in a way that your case can be strong. There's nothing to shy about. Things do happen. And in an increasingly growing technical world, there are both flip sides of the same coin. So there are advantages, there are disadvantages. We are never against innovation, but we want responsible innovation where our youth can be empowered instead of being silenced and sidelined in shame. So, um, I would say do not delete evidences, messages, do not confront to the abuser, or take the screenshots of whatever has happened. Reach out to cyber harassment support or any related organization for that cause, and then navigate safely on internet with confidence. With that, Arnanan, from public awareness perspective, what are the biggest AI related privacy risks people should understand?
I think AI is getting super good these days, and it's getting more advanced. And AI is a great tool. I appreciate AI. I embrace it completely because it makes our life more easier. It's a tool. At the end of the time, we cannot think. It's a tool. So any tools can be used for your good purposes and also bad purposes, and like any other tools in the human history. So the main thing I observe all over the world, not just in Canada, is a misinformation. They're creating a lot of misinformations through AI. They are making it more genuine look like even the videos or like a news articles or even social media posts. It sounds very truth. AI themselves can hallucinate. They create a lot of misinformations, but there's other parties or bad actors. They purposely doing that deep fakes, and they sounds like a person, and a lot of ads in YouTube too. It sounds like a genuine popular person, but it's a deep fake. It's not a real person. And another thing, as a privacy side, there's a lot of identity manipulations happening. As you mentioned earlier, the voice cloning is happening, and there's a lot of scams. Usually, the scammers they try to be very bad. You can just quickly identify it's a phishing, but now it's getting super good, and even the sounds, the website addresses seems like originally originating from real organizations, and they mimicking the exact commercial web pages, and they try to create that urgency to click a link. That's why I always say, do not click anything until you want to make sure. Take a step back, take a deep breath, count 1 to 10 or whatever. Do not get the urgency to click. They bait you. They give some either like a positive, like you have a discounts, or you have a extra free money, or maybe they emotionally manipulate, hey, your account is hacked, and so much urgency they try to create. Either way, you need to make that extra step. Whenever I get the emails from like there is a discount for 40%, I go to their website and check there, and I go into my login account. I don't click on anything. And excessive data collections, there's a lot of AI tools out there, and people are easily putting their lot of personal information, own photographs, lot more things on that AI tool. They think it's just any other tool, but they are smart. They collect every piece of information. They can collect like even your minor mole. They can even collect like the words written in your dress or your background information. You share a photograph, but they can read all the data behind the scene. It's blurred for you. So don't give informations to the unauthorized tools. In workplace too, most of the organization bringing their own AI tool approved and a very good way, like a Copilot or ChatGPT advanced version. They specifically mention do not go to the other tools. Come to the IT and cybersecurity and privacy. Ask them before you use it for the personal use purpose. To do not put your date. Do not put if you want to create an itinerary, always put the fake data or something. Do not put it there. Put enter your history, because they can recreate everything. That information could be used in multiple way, and do not trust anything these days. All the informations in social media or even LinkedIn post, it sounds very truthful. Do not trust. Take that extra step of caution. Use extra time to make sure that's the right information. News articles, this sounds like real news articles, but they are fake these days, so need to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
really
absolutely.
careful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. Um, as a common person, what I understand from what you're saying and what I want our viewers to understand is that AI is a wonderful tool which can make your life easy, but at the end of the day, it is a tool and we should use it like that. We should not let it control our life. And we should be very careful in feeding AI with our personally identifiable information. We should not be giving our PIN numbers, SIN numbers, or we should not be giving our telephone numbers, date of birth to the AI tool, because that can be used and reused to train the model as well as to create your fake digital profile. At the same time, Nandan, there are some settings in the AI tool itself which says that do not share my information anywhere. This is just for me to see or do. Does those settings help, or is it still harmful to give your personally identifiable information to AI tools?
Purposes. They
Yeah.
memorize your personal information, so you can turn that off. Unlike any other social media tool, there is the privacy settings. We can turn off a lot of things by default because it won't come with the default turned off. It everything is turned on, unfortunately. But you have to go and check it out and turn off the memory. You can delete, completely erase it, even though these things are turned off and erased and you delete, the tool still use certain information. So you need to make sure do not put your full name, or do not put your complete address, do not put your photographs, do not put your SIN number or financial data, because the combination of this information sitting at the back, it could be used multiple purpose, even the organization taking extra caution and stuff. It's our responsibility, and we should know our rights. The governments definitely bring a lot of privacy guardrails and controls, but only so much they can do purposely. Even then, if like banking informations, they can ask certain information to serve the purpose, or government organization can ask that. They have a chat boards and AI boards there. But check the privacy policy if you're not sure. Make sure you where to reach if you accidentally inadvertently put some information, so we can privacy officers, security teams behind, they can help you in that situations.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know that. With that, I just want to let viewers know that in case you get into sextortion, which has been generated by AI or any kind of voice cloning, and if you have samples of that, CHS is here to help you. We have automated tools to identify whether the image is AI generated or whether it is a original photograph or whether it's a voice or a video which is AI generated. So you can always take advantage of our tools or reach out to us to help you identify those kind of scams that are happening with you. Um, Aranan, many scams come through email, text messages, WhatsApp, social media, and fake links. What should people know about spam, consent, and digital communication?
The concern is the one we need to know anyway, because you are giving the information. So you should know what your consent. People have no time to read the entire legal documents. Usually, the applications or organization throw at you. But even then, you can always take a minute to read or skim it over to make sure you understand what exactly you're sharing with that. Uh, I would say like spams, it's over a decade or more than 2 decades. I was the spams are happening now. It's most like we are started using emails over the decade. So we social media itself like over a decade. So we know how these things work. Maybe if you're younger adults or the young kids or senior or vulnerable people, then they need some educations. But as a common person, most of them, they knew what's happening, they knew what is spam, they know what is phishing. There's a lot more. If even they want more additional informations out there, organizations like you, Ref, they're doing a great job in educating the people. So to prevent any this situation, I always say, do not fall for the bait. Do not make yourself pressurized to click a link or share the informations. Do not fall for the fear tactics or the tactics they use it. If you see something suspicious link, it is suspicious link. Go with the gut feeling. When you see something is off, it's actually off. So you need to keep that in mind. Do not take emotional decisions. Keep it extra caution around that. If there is an attachment, or if there is a coming from the fishers, do not download it. Just always put OTPs, additional password system, multi-factor authentications, even for your own banking. Do not save that automate saving password feature in the phone every time I want to put my own passwords into it, because sometimes we do not fall for the easy way. Do not go for the easy way, because your bank has a lot of information about your money sitting there, the same way other places where a lot of information sitting there. Once you lose it. So have that. Do not share the password do not click the link, always go for the OTP. So these things are basic things you should know. So they can imitate. They're very super good nowadays. They can imitate CRA, they can imitate your own employer or manager, even family members, right? They can imitate. So we need to have that extra caution and to prevent from these situations. Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I understand. Like nowadays, fraud has become more sophisticated because of AI and evolving technology. So, with that, I would tell our viewers that if you feel that something is fishy and you feel that there is some attachment which is not correct, always go to the report option on your email and report that email. Second option is Canadian anti-spam legislation, which is specifically done for reporting such spams. Do go to the government website. We also have multiple blogs and awareness programs and campaigns around it. There are emails and direct phone numbers available on Canadian anti-spam legislation website. You can pretty well go and report it there, and organizations should also take care of sending right information and preventing their impersonation to lose their reputation. And scams, as Arunanan said, has become more sophisticated. Simple steps like multi-factor authentication, right passwords, and sharing a minimum as much as is required, and understanding the reporting pathways is very, very important. Reporting on the platform itself, reporting if you are in Canada, then Canada anti spam legislation will help you navigate this spam related issues. With that, I will come to the section of practical takeaways, what we can do. If you give 5 privacy habits, Arunanan, for Canadians to follow, practical habits, what they would be.
Yes, I think that's a good question. So myself, I'm practicing being mindful is something which needed. I always constantly reinforce my habits every day. So keep a strong, unique password. Do not use a password very weak, like a 123 or your date of birth, your name, because it's easy to get that information out there. So try to have a unique passwords. Do not use the same password for every application, every banking accounts. Try to create just change at least few. Have that combination of alphanumerical and the keys. That way, your passwords will be changed. Make that a habit, and do not write it and keep it in a public space, or someone can access to that password. If you want to write it and keep it secure somewhere, which you can keep it secure, and try to change the password periodically. Sometimes you keep the same password for years, but the technologies get very creative now. They identify your password somehow, or they can manipulate that. So try to change the password, not just in your workplaces, but for your own personal applications, banks especially, and use multi-factor authentication everywhere. Just go additional layer of security. I think CRA changed, and last time I checked, Service Ontario changed. They bring in that MFA options more, which is good. And always think twice, maybe more than twice, before you're sharing your informations. Make sure before you share your personal informations, make sure it's really needed. As I said, some places need it, like a mortgage renewal or bankings, or government services, hospitals. But AI tools or other like a less secure places, make sure you think twice before you sharing any personal information, as I said earlier, and always verify suspicious message calls. If there is a clear urgency, don't fall for the urgency, because nothing is urgent and anything can wait. So that's what I think. And even a breach attack can wait. I never fall for that. So we should have that extra caution in your mind. Verify multiple channel. If your friend is calling you, they asking for your money, you just try to call the friend in his own personal phone number, or call his family and ask, her family and ask. So those kind of situation, make sure. And regularly, I always say, update your privacy settings on apps and social media. In the phone also, try to switch on the automatic update, because every time the organizations automatically upgrade and save, change your gadgets, phone, laptops and everything, keep that on so they can update your newer versions to fight the cyber attacks. And always take a pause, be mindful before reacting emotionally, because as a humans, we are a very emotional being. We fall for that easily, especially if it involves our own family or own situations. So do not take any decisions based on emotional fear or emotional I would say benefits. Like they say something it benefits you, like positively they catch you, not just creating a fear. So don't go for emotional and don't react. As Varsha mentioned, take a step back, clearly document what happened in a paper and preserve the evidence. Do not delete. And try to get help. In we have our law enforcement organizations like Varsha's, and there's a lot more. Or even reach out to your immediate family and friends and teachers, and so try to get that help. Do not act alone. I teach always kids, do not act alone. Get a backup. Come to your parents, come to your teachers in any situation.
Yeah. Thanks for those nice practical advices. What is one final message you would like to leave with the CHS viewers about privacy, dignity, and responsible technology?
Yeah, as you mentioned, privacy is it's a dignity thing. I would say privacy is ultimately is there to protect our dignity, to create the trust, and bring a safer environment. And it's a human right thing. So I always say bring human right, because we need to respect the other person, respect the other person's information. Uh, you have that respect the businesses or a private person like us or like organizations. If you respect that, you will never misuse that information. I would always say technology is evolving very quickly, but don't get afraid. I know a lot of people, they get afraid that the technology is changing, AI tools are coming, so they don't want to embrace that. They don't want to learn it, but try to learn. There's a lot of digestible informations out there. As a human, we have a responsibility. It's our civilization itself evolving. AI is it's a part of it now. We cannot deny that other tools are part of our life every day. As I mentioned, as a privacy officer myself, or the privacy teams and legal team, as a legislation, governments and organizations are there to support the people, support each other. No one should feel powerless. Everyone should empowered in a way they can make informed decisions for themselves to protect that their own dignity, own trust, and they want to feel safe. Part of that is organizations like OSHA's creating awareness, critical thinking. As I said, everyone should have the documentation habit. You need to document and find a responsible digital behavior. So it's very important for us. And if anyone is experiencing harm or digital abuse, no matter what, try to help, try to be support. Do not post the person who did something wrong, or do not name call anything. Try to support the person, because that information, anyone who fall for is they take a decision based on the information and the experience they had at that point of time. It's not their own willful act, or they deliberately want to do certain things. So as a community, I always say support, educate and inform, and we act together as a community. We don't want take act alone. So we should come together and help support each other. That's my message.
Thank you, Arunanan. It's a very powerful and practical message. And I really loved having this discussion with you today. For the viewers, we will be coming again and again with Arunanan discussing about privacy. We discussed today about the overall privacy in Canada. We will also be discussing about provincial privacy moving forward with Arunanan with his powerful experience and understanding regarding privacy. Thank you, Arnanan. And as we always say, empowering every voice, ending cyber silence, because every click deserves respect. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
joining.
Varsha.